Imperialism at its finest. A PowerPoint by Kyle Hesse. Part 1. Empire and its Discontents. I decided to show the imperialism in the poem The Charge of the Light Brigade, which was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. And this is about a foolish charge into battle against the enemy who had far superior numbers of troops, and all 600 of the Light Brigade promptly died. My thoughts on this piece are that it is a wonderful poem which stands to show the blind determination of imperialism in the form of troops knowingly yet blindingly riding to death because of their officers' orders, thus showing from the author how things were run and how it was done in the area of this imperialistic control. Looking at how other wars that the U.S. has participated in, not much has changed since then. Part 2. Apocalypse. So I decided to do this piece on the Metamorphosis by Kafka. This novel is, I believe, Marxist in that it can be construed as the fall of capitalism. This is personified in the struggle of a man maintaining his identity. The main character is a traveling salesman who provides for his family when one morning he awakes as a bug. This metamorphosis causes him to struggle with his previous life, and it causes familial struggle as well, because the family has to fend for themselves and eventually move on without him. My thoughts on the piece are that this is a very interesting novel, and it had a different perspective and mindset than I'm used to, which caused me to keep reading until I was finished. This is Marxist in that it shows the fall of capitalism, because he is a capitalist. He's going around capitalizing and making money, and he falls from grace, so to speak. Literally Marxist in its ideals. Like I said, my thoughts are that it's an interesting novel, and I enjoyed it. I would read it again. Alright, part 3, After the Fall, Post-War and Post-Colonial Literature. I chose to do this piece on Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell. And this piece is very imperialistic. It shows Orwell's time in Burma. And essentially, it's about an elephant. It's in must, it's just very horny. And it's wrecking through town, wreaking havoc, destroying things, and Orwell has to go out and do something about it. He goes out with a small rifle. He's just out there to see, and then he sends for an elephant rifle once it starts destroying more things, and this is merely to defend himself. He states time and time again he does not want to shoot the elephant. He's not down for that. And after he gets it, he finds the elephant grazing peacefully. And after he lays eyes on it, he thinks it would be wrong to kill it. He has no inclination and he does not want to do something. But he looks behind him and there's a crowd gathered. And that crowd, they have great expectations, like he has to do something. And then he realizes that all white men and colonizers, this is the revelation. Everyone is beholden to the white men that they've colonized. If he were to not shoot that elephant, he would let everyone down by not showing his power. And this is just imperialism at its finest. It's the white man's burden. The white people have this imperialistic power. They've got to take control and show their control. And this was a very powerful piece. At the end, the elephant dies. And it is just a powerful piece. My thoughts on it are great piece. It brings you down to earth and it shows his inner struggle. I really liked it and I would read again. And like I said, again, it's very imperialistic and it shows throughout the entire piece that it is. Part 4, The American War. I decided to do this piece on the things they carried by Tim O'Brien, and essentially this is about things that were carried by people. Haha. It's about the war in Vietnam from a U.S. trooper's perspective. This novel is showing imperialism at its finest, and by that, I mean that at its most obstinate. Because the U.S. is trying to overcome the citizens of North Vietnam through any means necessary, and at the cost of many lives in the process. Many, many lives. This shows how, as a family, the troop that Tim O'Brien is in must come together to deal with each other's deaths, whether it be individually or as a whole, because each person has to deal with it, whether it's through jokes or crude humor. And this shows how it can affect people psychologically. This was a very interesting book and it was a very informative piece. I thoroughly enjoyed it because it was real and it's something that I've never really gotten perspective on. We also read a book from a North Vietnamese woman's perspective, and reading both of those really brought the war more into perspective for me. Like I said, I thought this was a great piece. Really, it's really eye-opening, and it gets you into the nitty-gritty of it and makes you feel something more than other pieces have done for me in the past. Alright, that's all, folks.